Time for the market analysis for this week. We're joined by Churchill Ogutu, who is a senior research analyst at Genghis Capital, joining us on the program. Many thanks for making time.
Thank you, Abi.
Well, Churchill, comparing the NSE 20 with last week to this week, we're still seeing it's still struggling. It's down by 0.5%, and this week it's at 2,876. Well, if you take a look at a month ago, the NSE 20 was over 3,000 points. Why the sluggish behavior in the markets?
A number of factors, Abi, that have contributed to the decline in the indices. First of all, we're seeing that some of the institutional investors are not in the market right now. The third quarter closed last week, so this first 2 weeks in this quarter, we're expecting them to be out of the market, mainly just to do the quarterly reporting. So most of them are not been in the market. And also we've been seeing there's been some sell-offs, mostly from the foreign desk. They've been quite exiting the Kenyan market. A number of reasons behind that. First one being there's been the emerging markets. It's not been quite attractive since the beginning of July from Turkey, and it's been seeing that it's something, a contagion from that end, and also the rate normalization in the developed markets, whereby countries like US have been increasing their interest rates. So we find that most of these foreigners are going back to those developed markets. So it's that's some of the factors that have brought the decline in the indices.
All right. And are we seeing it coming up anytime soon?
I think some point in the second quarter, once the prices become attractive enough, we'll see most of the prices being boosted. Also, we're seeing once the institutional investors, the local institutional investors come back in the market, we're likely to seeing them pick most of the prices which will be deemed attractive to them. So sometime in this quarter, we'll see at least upward price retracement.
All right. And speaking about retracement, I'm seeing some interesting corrections with the Kenya Airways stock. This week, the stock has actually gained by about 2 shillings on its valuation, from 9 shillings and 23 cents to about 12 shillings. And it's up by 30%. What could be happening around the aviation sector? Is it that the stock is, we're looking, of course, forward to the direct flights? Over and above that, why is the KQ stock appreciating all of a sudden?
I think by and large, KQ still remains a speculative buy for most of the investors. So boosted by the fact that we're still having the direct flights to the New York. So I think most of the investors are just taking it some positive sentiments around that stock about it. But by and large, KQ still remains a speculative buy.
And some of the top losers this week, Churchill, we are seeing Deacons East Africa still on a downward trajectory. The stock is down 10%. And the valuation is just mind-blowing. It's at 45 cents.
Yes, yeah. I mean, on a year-to-date basis, Deacons has been one of the most laggard stocks in the market. Yeah. So at this point, I will just look at it as being driven by retail investors are the ones who try to make some gains or from this stock. So I'll look at it mainly from the retail demand, pushing it upwards or downwards in the near term. So nothing much from that stock. Fundamentally, not. They haven't seen much from Deacons.
All right, all right. And finally, of course, top movers. I'm still seeing the same old Safaricom, Equity Bank, KCB, Housing Finance, Kenya Power. But one interesting stock is Britam. The stock, if you look at the recent announcement that they'll be paying 6 billion shillings to bondholders in a redemption scheme that will be maturing in November following approval by the board. What does this symbolize for Britam, which is sort of trying to manage its debt as well?
I think it's positive, but the announcement that was made this week is a culmination of what was announced during the second half earnings period, whereby now the company had now to go and seek approval from the bondholders for that redemption. And then the announcement was just that now the bondholders had actually approved for the bond redemption to be paid. Going forward now with that 6 billion sort of write-down, which came from the funds that they've received of late, I think it will go a good way for them to manage their debt levels going forward. So I think it will be quite positive for the stock.
All right.
Yeah.
Many thanks, Churchill, for your insights. We really appreciate.
Thanks a lot, Abby.
Well, Churchill, they're just trying to break it down for us on what's been happening in the markets this week. And let's now take a quick look at Markets 101.